Hello and welcome to another episode of Sandy Killer Projects. On today's episode, we're going to install fog lights on the 2023 Honda Civic and these dead plates that are covering where fog lights should go. Okay, so my original plan was I was going to take the plate off of the bottom because you should be able to access this from underneath because it's really kind of hard to see, but if you look down in this gap in here, there's a huge amount of space between the bumper and where the fog lights would go. But as these tuck further back, it actually becomes more difficult to be able to access this area. So it looks like we are going to have to take the bumper off. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, so every one of the pop plugs that you see that is down needs to be pulled completely out. And there's a few other things. There's a pop plug there, Phillips head there, 10 mil there. There are 4 pop plugs along the white part of the bumper. One of them has fallen out, which is back there. Then as you go the other side, it's exactly the same as this. Another screw, another 10 millimeter, and the other 2. This releases the bumper itself from the bottom supports. All right, so once you go onto the inner fender side, there are 3 pieces of hardware. There's a Phillips head screw that comes out of this right here. And as you go right here, right by the crease, there's a tuck-in spot. And in that tuck-in spot is a little pop-up plug and then another one of the Phillips head screws. They're in there very oddly. One goes in this way and one goes in this way. This is actually what ties your bumper to the fender. Okay, so next we're going to move the pop plugs on the top. There are 4 on each side. There are 2 in the middle. Then it repeats on the other side. 2 in the middle, 4 on the top. This one is a weird one on both sides. It's hidden up underneath the rubber, so you got to move it out of the way. All right, so disconnecting all this gets a little bit more complicated. This fits up into a groove in here, and there's some detents that there's no real way to pull them out of. You kind of just have to work your hand in behind the liner, get some force up underneath the actual clip, and then work the things out of the clip. There's another similar setup on the top which goes into this little section here, but generally once you take these upper ones off, you don't have to fight these to get them out too much. They pretty much just flex out of the way. Then up underneath the lights, there's little teeny clips. There's 5 of them all the way across the bottom of the light. You have to get a plastic pry bar up into these and lift them up so it releases the light from the bumper. So once you release the ones from underneath the light, the bumper pretty much just slides off. As you can see, this is the back side of the bumper, but I want to be able to show you. These are the clips that attach to this honeycomb. This is what supports it inside the light. This is the little plastic detents that are along the fender, and this is the one for the other side. It's really pretty simple. It's just time consuming to be able to sit here and work all the little pieces off of it. So if you've seen on my bumper, I have a aftermarket air dam, so you don't have to remove that to take it off. The area that we want to get into is this guy right here. This is the blank plate for the fog light assembly. Okay, to get the stock blank caps out, it's 2 Phillips head screws. Nothing that spectacular, and these just get set aside. The kit that we got is just a cheapy, probably Chinese kit. Comes with a relay, fuse, some power wires. Each of the lights LEDs, so I don't have to change bulbs. They go directly into the mount up locations, and then on the other end of it, which will be going into the cab, is the button for turning on and off the lights. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do in the process is we're going to mount the lights into the pockets. This aftermarket kit, like I said, it's probably just like a cheapy Chinese kit. I ended up having to take a knife and just clearance the openings around the pins. These lights are set up so that they only fit on one direction. As you notice, this one has a T-pin with a longer tail on it, and this one has a square one. So if you tried to put the lights on the other direction, they won't work. Okay, so this is important for one particular reason. When they sent me this as the left light, which is the driver's side. They sent me that as the right light, and it says it on it that those are the positions. But the problem is the wiring for this should be on that light, and this wire should be on this one, because otherwise all the wires are pushed across the passenger side of the car, and that blocks me from being able to get the switch to the position it's in, because it would really only come to the front of the car. So I'm going to flip the entire wiring harness. Won't change anything electrically. It's literally just going to be switching this plug to that light, and this plug right here onto this light, and then it'll make it so all the wire can extend further back down the car, and I can get it in where the button's got to go. Okay, so this is another problem with cheapy Chinese aftermarket stuff. You see that little white pin in the center there? On the other one, it was jammed inside of the light because it looks as though they overcrushed the little two prongs inside of there. The little 2 points right there is where the wires go into the light. As you notice on this one, it's got a secondary safety lock. This one does not. It looks as though this thing's probably been purchased and returned, and they just went, there's nothing wrong with it, and sold it to me. I can't return it because I've had it for like 3 months sitting in my office waiting for me to have the time to do this. So I managed to fix everything. The secondary safety lock is missing. I'm going to use a different type of secondary safety lock, my trusty old roll of electrical tape. This plug will now go on the other side. It's probably a good thing that I decided to switch the wires around so I actually had length, because otherwise I would have never known that this thing wasn't working properly. Okay, so that doesn't look pretty down there. I've got tape double backing it up to make sure it doesn't move anywhere. I've taken a zip tie and I ran it through where the safety used to be. It'll also help keep that lock in place so that it can't slide back. Okay, now because I don't trust any of this Chinese stuff, I have an old gate battery that's a 12-volt battery. Not everybody's gonna have to go to this extreme, but I wanna make sure this works before I install this in the car. So when I hit the button, light turns on, and you can actually see the light turn on and off on both of them. See a little glow, so I know this is all working now. Okay, so now the lights are all hooked up. One thing I did to kind of make it look a little neater, there's a rubber splash guard underneath the bumper that connects to these little clips. I just poked a hole in them and put some zip ties on it just to kind of keep the wires in place. Now the other thing is I've got the wire fed in through this space right here, so that it comes into the car, and then it comes up right here next to the main power block and gives me a spot for where the wires are going to come up out of the car. Okay, so then all you do is keep slowly moving the cord forward, slide the bumper up until you can get it to where it'll mount back up in place. Alright, so at this point the bumper is still basically off. I've only got the clips on either side of the lights holding the bumper into place. I'm going to take all the plastic clips, put them all back in. I'm going to set the bumper back into place. I've fed the wire up through this location here, which is just an opening between the two. I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to set it on a grounded spot, which will probably end up being this grounded bolt off of the fuse box, and then I'm going to take the power wire and put it off of one of the fuse box wires. But before I do that, I'm going to disconnect the power because I don't want anything to short out. Alright, so I had the car up on a drive-up ramp. I removed that and put it back on the ground. That was so I could get the bottom of the bumper parts in and out. The next thing that I have done is I've removed the button off of the switch for the wiring assembly. And the reason why is because I have to feed that through the side of here. Also, I've taped a zip tie to the end of this because I need to be able to pass this by a piece of plastic that gets it outside of the inner fender and into the doorway. Once that's done, there is a door grommet, and this is the door grommet that allows it to pass from the outside of the cab to the inside of the cab. I'm going to punch a hole into this to allow this fitting to go through it, and then that'll get it into the cab. Alright, so if you look at that gap, there's this piece of plastic, and here's my zip tie sticking through. So we're going to pull this along here so that it is able to get this piece of plastic, this black piece of plastic here, out of the way and get the wires to come through the rest of the way. That door grommet goes right here, and that's where we're going to make entry into the car from. Okay, so this bolster panel is actually really easy to get out, and because of that I didn't even pay any attention as to what I was doing or how I did it to show you. But when this is sitting up in place, there are a series of push-in clips on either side. The easiest way to get it to come down is to grab it along the steering wheel side and pull, and once you pull, it will release it from a series of clips along the sides, And then once you get it to here, you can take a plastic pry bar and pull down to get it to come the rest of the way out. Okay, now that I've fed the wires in between the gap, I still have the zip tie on it. I've gutted out the grommet. This is the center of it. It's got like a little spider looking thing. Just cut out the center of it so that this plug will fit through the end of it. Then what I'm going to do, still leaving this on, is I'm going to feed this through that little hole that's right there. That's going to put me up into the cab. Okay, so as you can see, I pulled the kick panel out one clip. I did that because it gives me the ability to get to the wire a little easier, but when you pass it through, it actually comes in and above, which would line it up for the backside of one of these blank tabs. So we're going to pull one of these out and put the switch in it. Okay, so probably the most disappointing thing of this whole install, besides the fact that I've already had to like fix all the wiring and stuff, the button is wrong. The button is designed like it's one of these, which this is actually a single button with two different control buttons on it, not the size it's advertised, which is supposed to be this one. So I've actually contacted the seller for this one because this actually pissed me off. Like all the other electrical shit, I was able to fix it. This one makes me angry. They better replace it. So I'll put one in the description, but it's going to end up being one from Amazon anyway. This one I got on eBay. I don't know if it's just I got a crappy seller or what, but I will try to find one that is better. And if any of you guys have problems with it, let me know. All right, for sake of getting this video completed, the wires don't go anywhere I want them to go. So I used this bolt as a ground. This is one of the mounts for the computer. And I need to get the power wire off of something switched inside of the fuse box, but at the moment I don't know where to go with it, and I don't have any way to connect into it. So I can show you how it all works. I've got it on the power. I don't like this, and I'll show you why. Okay, I don't like connecting to the battery like that, and the reason why is because, as you can see, there's a light that's turned on to let you know these are on, which the light for this should be on when the lights for everything else in the interior is on. It doesn't really make sense, so I've got to find a switch spot that goes same with these lights. But when you turn the switch on, the little red light comes on to let you know the fog lights are on. Now, it's daytime right now. You can easily see that LED light is on. Obviously, headlight's not on, just the fog lights are on. So here's what it's going to look like when the switch is turned off. So I do not recommend this style of installation, going directly into the battery like that. It is going to cause battery drain. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end up looking inside of the lighting wire harness for something that's actually set up for the lighting when the lights come on. But I cannot do that today because today is my son's 10th birthday and we're going to go take him out to dinner because he's going to be grown up every day. So for this video, I'm going to have to stop it here, but I will end up fixing this. Maybe I'll end up putting in a short talking about where I go into this lighting assembly. And for now, I'm going to disconnect this so that it doesn't cause power drain. So that's going to do it for this episode of Sandy Killer Projects. As always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll keep making more content. Thanks for watching.